Hello, it's Ed at Classical Guitar Academy here, and welcome to this review of the Antonio Picado Model 53 classical guitar. So here they are. These are my two Antonio Picado Model 53 guitars. As you can see, this guitar comes in a cedar top version or a spruce top version. I'm going to be showing you some of the differences between those two, so you can get a really good sense of which one might be best for you. For what some might call an entry-level solid wood guitar, there is actually quite a lot of decorative detail that goes into the making of every Model 53 guitar that comes from Antonio Picado's workshop. So I just want to look at some of the details with you now and show you some things that have caught my eye that I appreciate as a guitar player, as a guitar owner. These are the kind of things that I've been looking for, that I'd be really interested to have on my instrument. So the first thing to mention is that it's got a lovely rosette. I really like this. It's got a tinge of green and red, very vibrant, sort of striking detail on the front, and that pairs nicely with both of the tops, both the spruce and cedar top. It works on both instruments really well. I do like that an awful lot. That's sort of paired together then with the edging here, so the perfectly around the edges. We've got, again, tinges of red and green which match your rosette. On the sides, again, we've got a small bit of detail here, sort of double lines here, sort of tying in the Indian Rosewood sides. That's mirrored on the back, so we can see here you've got the same edging, and then this central part here as well. So you've got sort of two paired sides to your back, which I think is really lovely. And rather than just sort of joining it straight in the middle, having no detail whatsoever, I think that's a really nice touch. And it's not something that I would necessarily expect on a guitar that is sort of just coming into the solid wood, the entry-level solid wood range. You do see that a little bit later on, but actually that's a really nice touch on this particular model. So on the headstock, you've also got a little bit of decoration here, so I just hold this up and show you. You can see that running down the sides. I think that's really pretty, and that goes right on the inside as well, if you can see this. Let's just try and get a bit closer in there. There we go. You can see it's just on the inside. So you've got your Indian Rosewood veneer, and then where this joins the neck, joins the cedar neck, you can see the change of colour in the woods on the inside. You've got your little bit of decoration in between there, which I think is really pretty. Another detail that I quite like is the bridge. So you can see here you've got the tie block there, which is framed nicely with a little bit of decoration. It's only small, but it makes a bit of a difference to me. I think that's a nice little feature to have. It tells you that you've not got a cheap guitar, you've got a really well thought of guitar, something which has been carefully considered, and that the maker have gone to some extra care to put this onto the instrument. So it's a nice thing to include. Okay, so on to the all-important question. How does this guitar sound? What's the tone like? What's the dynamic range like? I'm pleased to say it's a superb guitar. Everything about this is an awful lot of fun. Now there are some differences between your spruce top guitar and your cedar top guitar, which I'll get into in a moment. But the first thing to do is just talk about the general characteristics that both Model 53s share. So one of the things that really strikes me with this particular guitar is that every note has this sort of kind of bell-like quality. It's got really this kind of singing quality rather than this soft, muted sort of sound. It's got this ability to kind of project and just sort of this kind of separation between your notes. Again, you wouldn't really expect this in as much detail at this particular price point. Something that we look for as classical guitar players when we're looking at kind of higher end guitars is, can I hear my notes separately? Can I hear things clearly enough? And with the Model 53s, that is definitely the case. And it's one of the reasons that I rank this higher than a lot of other guitars that are almost twice the price. I think it shares qualities with higher end guitars that you wouldn't necessarily expect to get at this particular price point. So it's a real feather in the cap for the Model 53s. So whether you're playing, in your tasto position or more in your ponticello position, you've still got that kind of separation between your voices, between your strings. So as I say, it's a really, really big feature, and something that I would definitely be looking for as a developing guitar player. That's incredibly important. When I'm teaching my pupils and we're talking about voices and we're talking about phrasing and expression, if you haven't got that ability to separate out the strings or separate out the voices, everything kind of becomes blurry and as one. So all the Model 53s that I've played, and no matter whether it's a spruce top or whether it's a cedar top guitar that you're looking at, they do this really, really well. So it's a great thing to have. Dynamically, this thing really delivers as well. We've got everything from the very soft and subtle, where you've got that musical voice. It doesn't sort of suffer at the lower volumes, right through to, if you push the guitar, there's no sort of buzziness at all coming from the guitar. I mean, that's part to do with obviously the setup of the instrument. It's set up in such a way that it's not a massively huge action. It's set up nicely for a classical guitar player, but it's not ridiculously low either. So you've got plenty of room to actually push the guitar if you want to. But also the woods. I mean, it's a guitar that's built, as we say, from high quality materials, and the kind of consequence of that, or the benefit of that, is that you're able to get this lovely, huge dynamic range. So it's something which is not everything, but it's worth considering. If you're again a developing guitar player, you want something that's going to have potential to grow into. So if you're just kind of getting used to pushing your guitar, this has got plenty of headroom. So plenty of potential. I've switched over to the cedar top version now, as we've already heard a little bit of the spruce top guitar already today. So let's have a listen to it and see what we think. Yeah, so straight away, and this is really interesting, straight away, there's more of a sparkle to this guitar than there is to the spruce top guitar. You can hear things even more clearly than the other one, which is really interesting, seeing as naturally you'd assume that the spruce top version would be the brighter of the two, the cedar top one being the kind of darker or richer guitar. It's almost back to front, but it's still got that cedar quality. It's still got that rich tone. It's got that bold tone to it. You've just got this extra little bit of call it a bit of sparkle, a bit of something extra, a bit of zing to it. It's incredibly fun, incredibly usable kind of sound. And as I mentioned, when we're talking about guitars that are suitable for classical playing, having a really clear kind of sparkly melody that sits above your harmony parts is essential. And this is, it gives you another option compared to the spruce. I'm sort of thinking in my mind now, which one do I prefer? I'm really not sure. Absolutely great. Okay, so here is the spruce top version. Let's have a little listen to what we think of this guitar and see if there are any differences between this and the cedar top version. Definitely got a fuller body tone to it. It's not as perhaps as zingy as the other one. It's got this kind of fullness to it rather than this the kind of the richness of the cedar. This is more of a warmer, more inviting, almost expressive, sort of quality to it. There are definitely differences there. Which one I prefer. I'll be honest with you, I think both are superb. Whether you want the kind of the richer, zingier cedar top version, or whether you want a fuller sounding, sweeter sounding, kind of more melodic focused guitar than the spruce top would be for you. There's no right or wrong. Obviously, different players, they prefer different things. But for me, those are the differences between the spruce and the cedar. I think the Model 53 has an awful lot to offer. It's an incredible guitar, whether you go for the spruce top version like this, or whether you go for the cedar top version that I've demonstrated in this video. They're both fantastic instruments. I think they're definitely geared towards players who are, developing their craft. We're not talking professional guitar players here. We're talking, enthusiasts or people who are sort of working their way through the grades, and you're sort of getting used to how a guitar operates and what a classical guitar kind of demands from the player. They're great for that. They're absolutely fantastic for that. They're incredibly expressive, dynamic. They're musical. They've got a lovely tone. There's not a bad word to say about them, and I can really see why a lot of people do rate these so highly. I've certainly become a fan of the Model 53 since we've had them in the studio. I just think they're absolutely superb, and they're so hard to beat. I think for the price, they're just so hard to beat. If you're shopping around about the £1,000 mark, this should be something that you certainly consider. I don't think there's a better guitar out there for the money. I think this is it. So yeah, as I say, I highly recommend the Antonio Picado Model 53 if you're looking for a guitar at this particular price point. This guitar is available on our website, so if you're interested in making a purchase, then do head over to www.classicalguitaracademy.co.uk. I will pop a link down to the individual guitars in the video description as well. So if you're wanting to look for the spruce top Model 53 or the cedar top Model 53, then there'll be a link below the video that you can go straight to. If you've enjoyed the video, if you find it useful at all, then please do subscribe to our channel. Just hit the subscribe button, and then you'll get all sorts of guitar related contents, and you'll see all of the new arrivals as they come in, all of the new reviews, and anything else that we put out. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again very soon.